Hey, what's happening guys? My name is Doodles and welcome to my brand new Q&A show titled Q&Dave. You ask the questions and I will answer them. If you have a question you want me to answer, leave it in the comment box down below or by tweeting me with the hashtag Q&Dave. And I'll be in the debut episode, just going to give you a little insight about why I'm doing this. I fancied doing a Q&A series for quite a while and just thought why not? Why not just pull the plug, let's just see how it goes. Hopefully we can turn it into a weekly series and maybe do some live streaming too. I'd like to do some live Q&Dave episodes in the future, so leave me those questions, there's not much else to say. But now I'm going to get straight down to business and I'm going to answer one of your questions. So I'm going to go into the hat of wonders and let's see what we're being asked today. Is there any tips for beginners when it comes to equipment? Also, I've always wondered how you tune a guitar correctly. So with this question, I'm not entirely sure whether you mean beginner guitar equipment or beginner recording equipment, so I'm going to talk a little bit about both and then also answer your tuning question afterwards. This is really going to be a three-part answer, so let's get down to it. When it comes to beginner guitar equipment, my advice is do not cheap out. It's very easy just to go and buy like £100 or a couple $100 starter pack, get a cheap guitar, some no-name brand, and some really cheap amp that just sounds like balls. Really, you don't want to do that. It's very tempting because you don't know whether you're going to stick at playing guitar. But by buying cheap equipment like that, you're more likely to give it up. So my advice is to invest some money. And if it doesn't go well, if you don't like it, if it's a good brand, if you bought something like a Squire or an Epiphone, even Ibanez and all the other top brands out there, chances are you'll be able to recoup most of your money. So first things first, decide which style of music you want to play. You don't have to be entirely genre specific, but if you want to play metal, then it might not be wise buying like a Squire Stratocaster. You can, but it's not recommended. You might as well start with something that will suit your style better. So if you want to maybe play indie music, check out some of the Squire Strat and Telecasters. If you want to play more classic and hard rock, maybe check out an Epiphone Les Paul or Epiphone SG. If you want to play metal, maybe check out some Ibanez's, some of the low-end Jacksons, Schecters. I'm going to leave some links down below to a few guitars that I think will be suitable for the sort of main genres of music, and you can go from there. And then when it comes to amps, I recommend buying separate. You don't have to go out and buy a Marshall stack, but just buy something worth a couple £100 or a couple $100, just something a little bit better than what you get in starter packs, and trust me, you'll feel the benefits. Some suggestions might be to go down the sort of modelling route just so you can get an idea of the sort of tones that you do like, and then you can go from there and buy a proper tube amplifier or something in the future. My suggestions would be the Blackstar ID or the Fender Mustang in terms of modelling. I highly recommend checking them out. Do some research over on YouTube. There's many videos out there give you a better idea of what you fancy, but there would be my two recommendations personally. I'd say spend about £300 to £400 or $500 on your starter rig and you should be good to go. And then to recording equipment, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. This is something I want to cover in depth at a later date. But to start off with, chances are you've already owned a desktop or a laptop. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but that should be sufficient just to get you going. So if you want to invest in a music production PC, you can do once you start getting a little bit more serious, but for now, whatever you're using as a computer is fine. And then next up, you need a digital audio workstation or a DAW. That is the program that you record in, everything is done in. Cubase is a DAW, Pro Tools is a DAW, just throwing a few names out there that you'll probably recognise. I highly recommend starting on Reaper. It's a free digital audio workstation, so it's probably the best way to go. You don't want to throw £500 or £600 at the top end program, decide that you don't really fancy recording and it's just a waste of money. So go for Reaper, it's free. There's a lot of tutorials out there. It's not too hard to get to grips with, but look at a few tutorials, you should be good to go. And then probably the most important thing, you need something for your guitar to go into, and that, my friend, is an audio interface. And then once again, you don't want anything too expensive just in case it isn't for you. So I highly recommend going for one of the lower end products, but that doesn't mean you have to get bad quality. The Focusrite 2i4 would probably be my main recommendation. It's got a guitar and a microphone input rather, sorry. So that should be sufficient if you want to record guitar, or you want to maybe do some vocal work, if you want to play acoustic and sing at the same time, you want to just record vocals in general, anything. You can pick them up about £100, so probably less than $200 maybe. I'll post a link in the description as well for that, and you can check that one out. I use the Focusrite 18i20, which is its big brother, and I absolutely love it. Everything you hear on this channel is through that, so I highly recommend checking out the Focusrite 2i4. And then last but not least is investing in some studio headphones or studio monitors. I highly recommend maybe checking some out, like the M-Audio AV40s. You can probably pick them up about £100 a pair, or probably a couple $100. So I highly recommend checking them out. There's a few others as well, which I will leave in the description. They're a bit more expensive, but if you don't want the M-Audios, I highly recommend checking them out also. And right, last but not least, you've got your audio workstation, you've got your audio interface, you've got your guitar, but how are you going to record it? And you've got two options here. You can either buy a microphone such as a Shure SM57, which, considering it's cheap as hell, is the industry standard which a lot of professionals use. So that shows how good the quality is despite the price. I highly recommend checking one of them out. But if you don't want to mic up your amplifier, you can check out amp simulation via your computer. There's many programs you can use for this, such as Bias FX from Positive Grid, Guitar Rig 5, Amplitude, many others. A lot of them are free trials, so you can at least check them out and see which one is right for you. I use a lot of them depending on what I'm doing. You can also use apps on your iPad, such as Positive Grid's Jam Up Pro. You've got Amplitude amongst many others. And once again, they've got free trials on a lot of them, so at least you can get an idea of what you like using. I like to use Jam Up Pro on my iPad, as well as Amplitude, and on my computer I use Guitar Rig 5. You hear a lot of this on my channel. I'm also looking to get in Positive Grid's Bias FX. I've tried the demo, it's absolutely fantastic. I've seen a lot on it, absolutely fantastic, worth the money, definitely check it out. So that is your two options. I'll go into more depth with this if you want me to. I'm just going to keep it quite basic for now, but if you want me to go into more depth, let me know in the comments and I'll make a better tutorial video which will go into a lot more detail. But anyway, to the final question about how to tune your guitar. And if you go the amp route and buy something like the Black's ID or the Fender Mustang, it will come with an onboard tuner which you can use, which will save the need to go out and buy a separate tuner. If not, you can buy a portable one, like sort of something like that, which you plug your guitar into. It's not that big. I'll leave a picture of one on the screen now. There's a Korg one which I used for many years, which is about 20 quid. Absolutely fantastic. If you want a Stompbox style effects pedal one, there's many of them, such as the Boss one, which I'll leave a picture on screen now. Or if you use an amp simulation such as Guitar Rig 5, they come with tuners built into the software, so you can use that as well. And then when it comes to tuning the guitar, from the thickest string to the thinnest string, it should be going E, A, D, G, B, E. And there's many other tunes you can go into, such as drop D, drop C, C standard, drop B, so all those sort of other tunings. There's like hundreds of tunings out there, but for now, seeing so I'm assuming you're a beginner, you want to just keep it basic, learn how to play in standard, which is the E, A, D, G, B, E. And once you learn how to play the instrument, then you can delve into the realm of alternate tunings, down tuning, etc, etc. But for now, keep it simple. Get a tuner that will keep you on track. Make sure your guitar's in tune, because it will sound like ass if it's not, and it will make you feel like you're playing shit even if you're not. So my bad, I don't mean to swear, it's a family program, but that's just how it is. Keep your guitar in tune, E, A, D, G, B, E, and life will be good. So on that note, that brings me to the end of the video. It seems it was a 3-part question. I'm just going to leave it at that for this episode. I don't want to bore you guys with going on any longer. If you have a question you want me to answer, leave it in the comment box down below or by tweeting me with the hashtag Q&Dave. It's been an absolute blast doing this episode. Hopefully we can make it a weekly thing. With your help we can, and I'll see you guys very, very soon in the next video.